The Stand Comedy Club podcast is brought to you by West Brewery. Hi, Molly here from the Stand Comedy Club podcast. This week we have the incredible Josie Long. Hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Love you.
Well, look about, ooh-wee.
Should we start proper now?
Welcome to the podcast.
I thought Susie McCabe told us not to do that.
Yeah, but we can say welcome to the podcast. I think that's fine.
Sorry, Susie.
Sorry, Susie.
She's not listening. We have Josie Long on the podcast today. Welcome.
It's my pleasure and my joy to be here.
We're
Thank
so
you
glad
for
you're here.
coming.
Are you comfy on the sofa?
Yeah, thank
Warm
you.
enough? It's very cold in here.
I've got full thermals.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm glad that I warned
Yeah.
you to thermal up.
Yeah.
I'm wearing lots of layers as well.
So we've been talking about the stand this whole time.
Yeah, of course we have.
And you said that you had, or you can remember your first time coming to the Glasgow stand.
Yeah, so I started coming to Edinburgh to do the Fringe in 1999, so before you were all born, right? I assume.
I'm 1990. I was 9 years old.
You were 9 years old?
Sure was.
You didn't come to any of my shows?
Yeah,
I was there. What are you talking about? Front row.
Okay, yeah, good. Okay, fine,
Sure.
fine.
Not that
I
bad.
was
you're fine.
1 year old.
Oh. You can still remember 9/11 though, and that's the important thing.
Just about.
I can't. Completely unaware.
But I started coming then, and I used to go to the Edinburgh stand, and I really remember how exciting it was for me, and how there was like a generation of kind of older Scottish comics who must have all been my age, but at the time I was like, whoa, these guys, these kind of veterans.
Any of them still around that you can think of?
Just about, yeah. But I really remember there was a party at the stand where for some reason they had like performances all around the building of the stand.
Whoa.
Maybe I'm inventing this, but I remember it. And there was God, you won't remember his name, Sean. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I feel so old. But there was two comedians who I love from Canada who was singing this song about Edinburgh and about the festival, and I remember just being like, wow, I can't believe I found this. But I didn't come to Glasgow at all until 2005 when I was 22, about to turn 23. I was supporting Stuart Lee on tour, which was like, changed my life, absolutely. He was so kind to me, and he really looked after me and basically let me support him on tour. I had an incredible time, died on my ass in Sheffield, and then he came up and he was like, I'm so proud of you, man. And then for this one, we got to Glasgow and we were going to do Sky together.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah. And I'll tell you something, and this is no offence to the people of Sky, because I love that place and I'll go back for the rest of my life. Every time I've performed in Sky, I've died on my fucking ass. A silent, grinding death.
I don't think you died in your arse. I think they talk about it still in the public. Remember that show?
Well,
An absolute cracker.
So this is
I
it.
guarantee it.
I have gigged there with many people.
Yeah.
I gigged there with Stuart Lee, and let me tell you something. Stuart Lee died in his fucking... Like, nobody laughs in Sky, and then at the end of the show, they're like, oh, that was amazing.
Oh, really?
Come to the pub with us. And then you have this incredible night in the pub, and you're like, where were you?
Yeah.
Why did you do this to me?
That's crazy.
And honestly, I would go back there in a heartbeat. I do
Good.
it every single year of my life. So that we were going to go to Sky and we were somewhere else, but Stuart was recording his show. It was kind of his first show after having a break, which was called Stand Up Comedian or 90s Comedian. I can't remember which one. And he was recording it twice, and he brought up Kevin Eldon, who's this incredible...
I love Kevin Eldon
Oh my God,
so much.
He's incredible. And like,
love him.
he's also his sketch show is so...
The Kevin Eldon show?
Yeah, it's so good. And people don't like rewatch it enough.
And you know what? The Kevin Eldon show's intro is one of the funniest intros in the whole world. He walks down and he gets shot and he just goes, ow. I love Kevin Eldon.
He's so good and he's so funny. So we were coming up, and I'd never been to the city before, and I sort of couldn't... We did a gig, I think, at QMU, and I couldn't believe it. I was like walking around the West End like, what? This is incredible.
What was so incredible?
Well, like, it's beautiful.
Oh, okay.
It's stunning. And like, also growing up, I'd loved music from here.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, literature, art, everything. I was a fan. So to come
So you're
up and be
walking
like,
through the streets to all these things.
yeah, and I was really Edinburgh. I was really
Yeah,
like,
right,
I
right,
love
right, right,
Edinburgh.
right.
Every time I go up there, it's so
Yeah.
amazing. And Edinburgh changed my life so much. And then to be here, and Stuart was up, and we were staying here 2 nights around something else. And the comedy festival, put us up in the Malmaison.
Ooh.
I mean, I'd not warranted it. I wasn't even doing a fucking gig, but Stuart was very generous. And I went up to my room, and it was this incredible room. It was like two double height with a mezzanine. There was like a big bowl of fruit. There was a box of I was like, these guys are treating me right. I'm not even doing a gig. And we stayed there 2 days. And then after 2 days, Stuart was so sweet. He was like, I think they put us in the wrong rooms. And he'd been put in like just a shit room that I was supposed to have. And I've been sat there like luxuriating in a row for 2 days. Like, Glasgow's the greatest city on earth, man. It's the greatest thing. But I really remember sitting and watching the show as he recorded it in this room. And this room is like incredibly special to me. Before I moved here, I just only seemed to have gigs here that felt electric. I'd be on tour and I'd be like, this is my favourite place to be. And then now I've moved here, I've had to kind of surrender that a bit because I'm going to perform here a lot more.
Yeah,
It's your local,
my
right?
audience, my audience kind of doesn't just see me here once a year. Many of them, I imagine, are now sick of me, and that is a very sad thing to have to give up for, like, the dream of being here. But I love this place, and I love the Edinburgh stand too, and the Newcastle stand is fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's a great room.
But this place is so special to me. And I like also in terms of doing a gig here when like people from bands I love came to see me, and I was like, oh my fucking God, you know. Or just times, and I had one of the most special experiences of my life here when I was doing a gig in 2010 on tour, and the show ran over because it was part of the comedy festival. And I still had like half an hour left. And me and the whole crowd, it was like sold out. We went to the Schoolhouse pub.
No way.
And I stood on a table outside and I preached the end of the show.
No way.
Amazing.
And I'd forgotten about it because I have a shit memory for cool stuff I've done. And somebody reminded me of it the other year. They were like, well, we were, of course, at that legendary show. And I was literally like, what the fuck are you? There's no legendary show. And then I was like,
Amazing.
oh, yeah, that was one of the best
That's
experiences
so
of my
cool.
life. And it was so exciting
Yeah.
like to be there and have the whole crowd there and just be like the urgency of it.
Yeah.
It was wild. Yeah.
Mary Lane did that once during
Yeah.
the Fringe in Edinburgh. Did somebody collapse or something in
Yeah.
the?
I was
And so-
checking that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she took the whole audience outside and she
yeah.
finished it like
2023.
on the
It
stage.
a couple
was,
years ago.
yeah, it was her show Marge, which is amazing.
Yeah, that show is absolutely
yeah.
brilliant.
And someone passed out like right in the back corner, and it was essentially
They were fine, by the way.
They
for
were
us, right?
fine.
Everyone knows
yeah.
they ended up okay.
And they passed out, and you just heard this like big gasp, and everyone was like that, and then Marilyn stopped the show, and it was like trying to get people away from the person because it was so hot in that room.
Yeah.
And it was and everyone was just trying to help, but I was like the more you stand around it, the hotter it's going to be, so just and then I was trying to phone the ambulance, but in the basement there was no signal, and so then I went outside and they were like, so what's the name of the person? I was like, dunno. How old is she? Dunno. And it was like, does she have any I was like, just get here. No idea, I have no idea. And then while that was happening, she was standing outside by where the it's now called Nips, but it used to be
Fortitude Coffee.
Coffee.
Oh, is that not cool? Is that not?
Yeah, no.
No,
they moved.
the
They've
bar
moved.
underneath have bought it. So basically, what's the bar called again?
Nightcap.
Nightcap bought it, and so
it's
basically
like a bottle
Nightcap now
shop.
do like a bottle shop upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't as good as a coffee shop.
No, I used to love that place.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
They used to give us free
R.I.P.
coffee all the time.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Pour one out for.
But she was she was standing and she did it, and then at the end of there's like I won't say it, but there's a pretty cool ending for Marge, and so then as it was happening, I was like, oh, I'm gonna play the last song, and I played it so loud, and then Mike came back down and was like, this is really, it was like you could essentially hear it just like all the way up the building, because I was playing it so loud that you could hear it out to the
That's so beautiful.
yeah. It was really fun, and it was one of those things that was that you're like, only in the Fringe this happens.
That's
But
what I
yeah.
love about this sort of thing is you do get times that feel very rare and like a happening, like an
Yeah.
artistic thing
Yeah.
that you think.
And
That's special.
that's the power of something being live.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
open to change.
That's so good.
You were saying you did Edinburgh Stand back in like 99, 2000. So they only opened in 1998. So you've been there pretty much very
One
early
of the
doors of when
first
that building
ones.
actually opened.
Is that so?
Well,
Yeah.
the stand itself as a company has pretty much been going since about 95, but that was like in different, like in pubs and stuff like that down in
the like permanent venue.
But
Is
the
That
venue
has
itself
blown
opened in
my
88,
mind.
Yeah.
and we've only been here since 2001. We're 25 years.
In my
Um,
head, these things were 10 years established, you know.
Yeah.
No. So the stand was
Whoa,
very,
that
very
blows
new when
my
you were there. I wonder,
mind.
you've been in since then. What was the room a different shape back then? Because I'm 99% sure that they've moved
It was like
everything.
through the back.
Like the
kind
green
of.
There was
room
a
was like-
hatch for food. I remember that.
I think the green
Like,
room
it was
used to be
food.
where
There
the
was
stage
like
was.
food
Yeah.
coming up.
Yeah.
Downstairs, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
And they moved everything. Everything got shuffled all
Didn't
around.
there used to be something in the back office as
Yeah.
well?
So where the tech store is now,
Oh,
that's the
that
stage.
was
yeah.
the stage.
Because there's like a stage in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
So
like-
listen, maybe I wasn't there in 99. Maybe the first time I went was 2001, genuinely.
Like, even,
Because
I'm not
99
sure
I
when they
was only
changed
up for a
it.
couple of weeks, but I feel like I went to something.
I'm sure you.
I know that certainly the
I was
door to
there.
the venue used to be in the back lane, because if you look
Yeah.
on the back doors of the fire escape
Mm-hmm.
at the back lane of the Edinburgh Club, they've still got the lineups written on the door in like pen, so you can see who was playing like the night when they basically changed it. So when they swapped over to having a different entrance, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
But I mean, like I would still, when they first started, it was all like Jay Mackay was pretty much the resident comp.
Yeah, I
and,
remember.
like, Susan Morrison was there for
Yep, I remember.
Yeah.
weekly stuff like that. But I just kind of I'm sad I was only 9. I would like to have experienced it.
know, I
That
know.
sounded
I
quite
Yeah,
cool.
remember
that
there
sounds
was
sick.
a guy I remember in like 2001, I saw this guy who was doing a version of Country House by Blur, but it was called I'm for Nidri. I was like, I'm for Nidri. And I remember just watching thinking, I have no idea what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like every single reference of it, I was like, sure. I guess that's what Nidri's like.
Yeah.
It was fun for
Got a
me.
real good picture of Nidri in your head.
Yeah. I remember seeing Will Andrews. You know Will
Yeah.
Andrews? He must have been a student at the time. He did this really cool bit. We had an asthma inhaler. I really remember that. Like I can just remember sort of little fractions.
Yeah,
of
like
things.
flashes.
I saw Johnny Vegas there
Nice.
doing a show, and I think the stage was
Somewhere else.
It was to the left of where the stage is now.
Yeah, so maybe that's when it was through the back.
So yeah, you were there back when
Yeah.
when the venue used to be a different shape completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. Sorry.
We've got a monkey from Johnny Vegas.
We have the actual Johnny Vegas monkey behind the bar in Glasgow.
I remember that
Is
show
that
though. It was
the actual
amazing.
one?
That's the actual
Yeah.
one.
Felt
He
really
gifted it to
exciting.
us. It's behind
Did
the
he?
bar.
I
Yeah.
didn't know
guy.
that.
We
I
just
thought
we've
it was
just abused that monkey.
We talk. We put sunglasses on him. He's having a
Yeah.
great time.
He's having a
Yeah.
good time. He's in
T-shirts.
retirement.
Yeah.
He's in a sanctuary.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's a genuine piece of comedy. It's a comedy artifact right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Will Andrew used to do that. Usually like kind of a double act with Greg McHugh, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And see, we were talking about. You were talking about sketch shows people don't watch enough. They got a pilot of a show called the Amazing, the Incredible Will and Greg. It was a Channel 4, and they got one episode of it. Me and my brother still quote it to this day. They made one 25-minute episode. It was so good. All the bits in it, like Spanish man with a cup. I am a Spanish man with a cup. Just so good. It
This is heartbreaking. There
it
are
was
so
all
many
so good.
things like that. There
Yeah.
are so many pilots
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
It was
feel
so
like
good.
that.
I'm only this high. Also good. It's
It would have been
so
so
good.
good. But it's so beautiful because I bet they don't realise that.
No,
Oh, there's
And
such
you're
a-
not going to be the only person.
Oh, massive part for me. I loved it. And then I think kind of as a sort of farewell to their duo that they were doing for a while, they did a little tour and they did a live show at Oranmore. Like this is a while ago, and I went and saw them, and they didn't have a support, so they ended up doing. And they said on stage like, we're meant to have a support, we haven't done it, so we're both going to do 20 minutes just before we do our actual sketch show.
Nice.
And so Will basically came on with an iPod and just listened to music and went, I like this song. And just like, went through it, which was absolutely fantastic. And then Greg came on and did like, I'm just going to do 20 minutes as Gary Tank Commander. And they basically came on and did 20 minutes as Gary, which
That's
was,
so
and this was
good.
before even the Gary Tank Commander TV show being on.
Oh, wow.
It was so good.
That's
and then
so
they did their
good.
sketch show and I was like, they got robbed. We should have had more of this. And I know they're both doing great and they're doing really well and it's all fantastic, but they're not doing what I want them to do, which is more of that sketch show. So
There was a pilot about the Bronte sisters. There was Bridget Christie, Izzy City, and Joe Neary, and someone else.
Oh my god!
That's
It's been
amazing.
so fucking good. There was a pilot where Tony Law was Thor.
wow.
There
That must
was.
have been mental.
There were all these. Honestly, the amount of pilots where I'm like, why?
Why? Yeah.
Why couldn't you?
Damn.
It's heartbreaking. There was, and also these were like exactly the right time. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I really loved. There was a pilot that was broadcast that was Jessica Hines and. Oh, I'm so old and my brain doesn't work anymore. Nighty Night. She wrote Nighty Night. Nighty Night.
Oh, I know exactly who you're talking about. Oh, no.
Come on, Julia Davis.
Yes, there you go.
And it was so good. It was so good. It was an incredible show. And the same thing, I remember just being like, bereft to
Yeah,
find out
that
it
it
wasn't picked
wasn't
up.
gonna
Like,
be a
Especially when you see
Why?
some of the dross that does
I
get
know
put on.
that's the thing. It's
Jesus
like the stuff that
Christ.
does get made. It's like,
it's because they don't judge these things on whether or not they're good.
yeah.
Is there something that you like? It could be a sketch show. It could be anything that you still kind of quote or are very much attached to.
Oh, so much. I couldn't even start. I still think about Big Train, which of course was written by Arthur Matthews and no one else. Incredible show. I think about what other sketch shows? God, I'm really bad at this because it's like if somebody says, "What's your favourite thing?" and
then
my
it's
brain
like,
goes,
yeah.
"I have never experienced
me too.
anything. I exist solely in thin air. I've never lived."
For me, it's Sorry I've Got No Head, and that was for children.
the kids show.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, fair enough. That's cool.
That was
Better
better
funny
than
show.
yeah. It was
What
so
about
good.
Stupid.
Stupid.
Yeah,
I think I'm
that's
ever
like
so
Devil
wrong.
Finger. Yeah, and Bendy Wendy.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like when I was a kid, I watched Kids in the Hall, which will be before your
that's it.
time.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like that was massive to me,
Yeah.
and like Lee and Herring were massive to me. I watched Monty Python when I was a little kid, and I loved it so much. And
Nice.
like so, there's a lot of that, and I
Yeah.
think sketch comedy was really a big deal. Why is that? I feel like I do remember sketches more. And
Yeah,
I suppose because
and that more.
if they're repeatable, then it sticks in your head.
just
better.
keeps
I think
going.
the
Because like, you're not
sketch
going to
comedy
like
is that because also the death of sketch comedy in a way, like in that there isn't like name a sketch TV show, they don't exist, but it's
Yeah.
because of the rise of short form internet stuff. So basically, sketch shows have become TikTok or Instagram reels
that's so true.
because you just write one decent sketch and put it up on Instagram,
Yeah,
and it's like
that's true.
a 30-second reel and you're done, and that's you've done your sketch. You
Yeah.
don't need to. You can get in a massive audience without ever having to get anyone to commission you.
That's a very good point.
But it also means there's a lot of rubbish out there as well. But it means if you're good, you can be seen without having to convince.
Yeah.
Oh, and I
somebody.
have so many favourites currently on.
Yeah.
Like it's so lovely when you're like, oh, I think this person's going to be a.
You're
gonna be a big
And it's good. Lots of them end up becoming, like they start doing live shows.
Yeah. I love
Some
that.
of them aren't good, and some of them are really good.
We've talked
It's
about this. Have you
interesting.
ever been on like a bill, and I'm not asking to name any names, because also I've been surprised the other way as well, I have to say, where we often talk about people coming in and doing like an hour. It's like, I've never heard of this person. Who is it? And it sells out like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who is this person? And it turns out
Internet
they're like,
famous.
they've got a TikTok page that's got like
Yeah.
1 million followers. Like, wow. And that can really go two ways.
Yeah.
You can have people come on here that are like incredible. They're online, their following's huge, and they just die in their ass because they're not an hour-long stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And then the other ones who come and surprise you, like, oh crap, like you did, like, and I'm going to name a good one because that seems fair. Like Paul Black, I was
Yeah.
surprised how
incredible.
good a
Yeah,
stand-up
I
he
was
is.
just about to say,
Yeah.
like, the only way I've had it is the other way,
Yeah.
where I was like, oh, this person's really funny online. Oh, they're doing stand-up. Oh,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but I didn't
Yeah.
think he wouldn't be.
Yeah.
because
Kim
I just
Blythe
see
is
it.
another
Yeah,
one.
I was
Oh,
going to
she's
say Kim
amazing.
Blythe. She
Yeah.
is so funny.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
funny.
so funny.
There are definitely other ones who aren't good, but I'm not going to name them.
But I mean, if you think about it, I mean,
I think I just haven't seen anyone. Like for me, it's been the opposite. Where there's a guy I really think is so funny, Tom Lawrenson.
Oh yeah.
I love his videos.
Yeah.
And then he was doing.
He did the
stand-up.
French. Did he do the French?
He did do the Fringe. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it because I was only in twice and didn't get to see anything really. But he did a little spot as part of the BBC Comedy Awards because he'd been there the year before, and I was just thrilled to see him live. And I think maybe I just have great taste, you know. I can just see he's
You
got
just
funny
tell.
bones, and I don't waste my time. But like, yeah, luckily at this stage, it's only even like me thinking someone's going to be good and then being great.
well, I'll give it time.
Right.
You'll see some.
Yeah,
You'll see some
I'll see
shockers.
some shit, I'll see some
Do you
shit.
think if you were starting your, well, I say do you think, because there's a load of questions because I know the answer, I think, but do you think if you were starting your career now,
Oh, I wouldn't get anywhere.
You'd
I'm
be a
dog
very
shit.
different sort of
Like
thing.
I think about this all the time. When I started out, I've got a joke about it, but I've jettisoned it 'cause it's not worth doing. But basically, it was like when I started, I was 17, and there were just no comedians. There was just no one else my age. There wasn't like
Sure.
the first Edinburgh Fringe I went to.
Uh-huh.
They gave you a fucking piece of paper that said press on it, and you could walk into any show for free with that little piece of paper.
Wow.
There was like 12 comedians. So when you see somebody who's like, yo, I was actually nominated for the Perrier in 1990,
It's like
of course you fucking were. There's only
no one
3
else.
people who won. I was like, yeah, I started in 1999. I did well, but you know, there was no comedians, and I had no natural predators. You know, obviously I was in the comedy industry. I was surrounded by predators, but that's a joke. It's a stupid joke. But God, I don't know. I guess if I was starting now, I hate hypothetical questions
No, for
because
sure,
this is
yeah.
why I'd be like, okay, how old am I? Am I starting at 17?
you're 17 again,
I'm 17 again.
but you happen to be now.
That's a
now? Whoa, yeah, it is.
It's starring.
starting- I'm
So
17
Troy.
again, and you're Zac Efron as well.
Zac Efron.
Troy
Oh,
Chandler.
well, I think if I was Zac Efron, I did pretty fucking well. Like, if I was beautiful, sure.
Yeah.
If I started again at 17 now, but do I have my same parental circumstances, but it's updated?
Yeah, it's a modern version of your life,
Okay.
basically.
Oh, right. Okay.
Have I had a diagnosis for ADHD/ASD?
I suppose
This day, yes.
In this day and age, I have.
Yeah, you
well,
would, yeah.
guys, I wouldn't be doing comedy, would I? I know.
What about you self-diagnosed?
A self-diagnosed. Okay.
Yeah, that feels
17.
like it.
That's
yeah.
all comedians.
Okay. Shout out to my no, I'm not gonna no, okay, all comedians. No, I have a theory about this joke, whatever. Basically, there's 3 types of comedians. There's ASD comedians, ADHD comedians, and bad comedians. And those are the only types of comedians.
Fair.
If I started again now, I would like to hope that I would be as focused as I was back then, as obsessed as I was back then, and able to bring something that felt mine. But honestly, what I think about comedy in the time I've done it, and I find it wonderful and humbling, I suppose, but life itself is like a humbling process, and that's beautiful, is that, like, I think people get better and better. People now are so sophisticated. They're so much better than they were because the culture has existed all this time. And like people go back to it, and I love that. Like when I see new comedians, I'm like, they're so sophisticated. I remember seeing someone about 10 years ago talking about politics on stage, and they were just in like a 5 spot and thinking, fuck me, like it took me so long to get to a point where I felt I was doing anything sophisticated on stage, and I still don't really think I am. And to see this like young comic just being like, laying stuff out so quickly and so well, it was inspiring. And I think like it's beautiful. You can sometimes think like, oh shit, I am outmoded, but I just don't think that's helpful. Like I'm actually, I think, wonderfully lucky because I have a crowd that is big enough to subsist just about please and I get to do what I love and what I want. Obviously I have children now. Can't afford anything, but like I'm lucky to have come out when I did. Every single part of the journey has meant that I'm still going. And I think sometimes there are people who are far better than I am who for whatever reason can't build a following in the same way. And like that's hard. But then I also think, I don't know, I came out at very specific times with regard to internet culture, with regard to social media. And sometimes I think, like I was thinking about this, I put a special on YouTube in 2012. But like, people weren't really doing that, so no one ever watched it. And now I'm like, man, if it had been 10 years later. Like, sometimes we just feel like a bit out of step, because I think if you start really young, you kind of are out of step. But then other times you just think, we got one life, you're just doing it one way. And I'm really happy with it. So,
and also, there's ways that other people are doing things, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way.
Oh, that's my one stand-up lesson. If for people starting stand-up is... When I first started out, there were a couple of people who did Melbourne Festival, who did Edinburgh Festival, who I still massively respect, most of them. I'm joking. There were a couple of people who did Melbourne who I do massively respect. And I remember looking to them and thinking, that's what I should do. And then when I started doing it, I suddenly was like, oh, they're them. I'm me. And anyone who's like wanting to do a creative career in any capacity, I suppose sometimes it's helpful to look to other people. But the last thing you ever need to do is try and emulate someone else's path. Because actually there's no such thing as a path. And the more you do try and follow someone else's, the more you're walking away. You're walking onto a hiding to nothing. Like I've seen people that I really think are wonderful chase after what they think is going to work for them. And they think it because they've seen someone else 10 years ago doing it. Like even when I was a kid, I really wanted to go to Oxford University because all of that like lot in the 80s had gone there. And then I got to Oxford University and I was like, it's Cambridge that has the footlights. Okay, I fucked this. But like genuinely,
but also it was Cambridge.
Chasing a ghost.
It was Cambridge in the 80s. It's not, it's like it's not even now.
No, but also this is it. You're chasing a ghost. If you're trying to look at someone else's path, you're chasing a path that is a bridge that's already burnt. Like all you can do is really, really think about what you want to do and how you might try and do it. And as somebody who's made multiple attempts in lots of ways that might not have gone anywhere, I wouldn't regret it. I don't regret any of it. Do I?
It's okay.
I don't regret it. I regret nothing.
It's, you mentioned your audiences there, and I think your audience in particular is one of the nicest audiences.
Thank you.
Genuinely.
100%.
Like when you come in to do a show, there's absolutely no even inkling of a stress or worry that the audiences are going to be
We
in
could
any
all,
way
as
bad.
staff, we could all probably just leave and it would all be
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
That's what I'm
Just put
building
an
up.
honesty box on the till.
Yeah, slow burn. I'm like, yeah, you should. And then it's like, I'm like, we did it, guys. Let's write the till. Fuck. And then we'll squat it.
Yeah.
yeah.
That is such a lovely thing to say, and I feel so deeply proud. And I don't think I really deserve to feel proud, but it's nice. I feel really lucky with my crowd. I feel. Oh, it's just nice, and it's interesting. And it's interesting how things like shift in turn with what you choose to do and how things go and stuff. But yeah, I do love that, and I feel lucky. And it's funny too, like I've been going long enough that I would say I probably have, I don't even know how many, but I have some people who I'm like, you're a long haul fan. Like,
Yeah.
and
You
there's only a few
recognise
people,
them.
I know them because like, not too well,
Yeah.
in an appropriate boundary fashion.
Yeah.
But there are some people I'll be like, oh, they're here. And there are some people I know who've been like, come and see me for 20 years, and
Damn,
I can't tell you how much it means to me.
That's
it means
really
the fucking
nice.
world
That's so
that they
nice.
are still interested in
Yeah.
what I might be up to and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the dream.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Um,
I just need 3 or 4 of them to be so wealthy.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember actually, so I used to babysit for Shirley.
Oh, did
And
you?
yeah, and when I first started it, I must have been at art school
Lottie,
still.
that's so cute.
And now the children are like old.
Oh, yeah. I saw them at a festival and I was like,
Nah, I don't like
let's
it.
talk about music.
Yeah, no. But so I was at art school, and I guess Stuart was talking to me about like what it is to be an artist in the world just now or whatever.
Nice.
And he was like saying that he had a friend who sold one painting a year for like £20,000, and that was just their life. And he was like, just need to get to that stage. And I was like, damn, that would be so good. I haven't got to that stage because I didn't focus hard enough, but
I still owe
it
some money
would have been
for a
you
piece
do,
of art.
yeah.
Is life over?
No, and it's fine. But that would be good.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about this with my friend because we were playing a game where we were like, if you had unlimited money, what would you do? And then we started being like, well, I'd have to give it to the community, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, we've already done all
Because it's unlimited, so you can,
every charity
that's
thing,
lovely.
we've already
Right,
done it.
right.
Don't think about that. You've sorted out your family, you've sorted out your friends,
Yeah.
you sorted out your community. Don't worry about that. And I literally said to her, I wouldn't move.
Yeah.
I love where I live.
Yeah.
I've got everything I want. Like my dream was to have close community and have a family, and I have that. But let's have
A little bit more.
the things
Yeah.
I want for myself, and this was it with
Yeah.
my pal. We were like, I would hire a personal trainer to motivate me every day to exercise. I would hire a masseur every day. I would hire a PA to make sure I was organised. And all of these things, I was like, we just want to facilitate ourselves to be happy and healthy.
Yeah.
Like we don't want
Yeah.
anything else, you know.
I do think if I could, I would pay to move the gym closer.
Whoa, brick by brick.
Yeah.
When I was at school, there was a girl that I was friends with. So I grew up in Bearsden. It's true. And I don't have a chip on my shoulder about it, but I'm not from a particularly wealthy background, but I grew up in Bearsden where there are wealthy people. And one of the people that I grew up with, who's still a good friend of mine, and she's lovely, but her parents had a swimming pool in the basement.
basement?
Yeah. And we
Oh,
used to
that's
go,
walking around money.
And yeah, it was amazing. And we used to go there for parties regularly.
Whoa.
We'd have
And they got
pool
underfloor
parties.
heating
And
too.
so we'd go into the house, and then you wouldn't know because you go in. It's like a nice house. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't but it was nice. And then it's like, oh,
Yeah,
just
you're
down
in
these stairs.
Bearsden, you know, nice.
And then you go down the stairs, and suddenly there's an absolute ginormous pool. I mean, it's not Olympic, but it was big enough to have parties.
It's not.
Imagine
Put
that.
on a t-shirt. Put that on a
You go downstairs,
t-shirt.
you're like, well, we couldn't host any kind of competitive event here.
I really, really want. It's not Olympic, but it's big enough to have parties. Merch.
That's
That's
good.
nice. I
That's
like
nice.
it.
Yeah, because you could just do that about life.
Yeah, you could.
I'm really sorry. I've been thinking this whole time you've been really nice and modest about I wouldn't have this, I wouldn't have this. I would have a fucking bookcase with a book that pulls back and then opens to a secret room.
Yeah. Would you have it with the bookcase
Maybe
open,
my
or would your
ambitions-
fireplace rotate?
You want the fireplace to function. You
No,
can't have a
no,
rotating
I would
If you've
have.
fireplace.
I would have.
unlimited money, you could get both.
You could get a
I
functioning.
would
I
have
reckon that the
Christmas.
chimney. Okay, so the internal
Maybe my
chimney.
ambition is too low. I often think this
I
about
think the
myself.
internal chimney is static because it's the flue that goes up to the. Up
But
to
it
the roof.
gets so
But
hot.
everything spins around it, so I think that the
Yeah,
chimney
but what
could
if
be
you-
functional.
What if you slipped
No.
against it and you burnt your shoulder?
Don't.
Big if.
A lot of things could hurt us in
You're
life, but we
right.
just have to be sensible about it.
Okay, maybe my ambitions are too slight. I do think that.
I think you could get a bookcase in your house that's a
Does
door.
that- Well,
you just turn one of the doors into a
every
bookcase, right?
bookcase is a door.
Oh my
If you
God.
pull hard enough, and the door you want is your wall being
Yeah,
destroyed.
yeah, yeah. I
That's
think.
true. That is true.
Yeah, I genuinely think that is the height of sophisticated. Honestly,
Oh, that's a good question.
Honestly, I
That's the
recently
Secret passage.
a secret passage.
What would be the end of the
Oh,
secret
yeah, what's
passage?
in
for
the
you?
Well, I would think that I think I'm really like hearkening. Is that right?
Harkening back.
Yeah. To childhood where I was desperate to have like a games room or something. So I think I would probably do that.
Yeah.
And I watched not Home Alone 1, not Home Alone 2, not Home Alone 3, but Home Alone 4.
I
Hang
didn't
on,
even know
how
that
many-
existed.
I think there's 5 of them.
There's 6.
What?
There's 6 Home
Yeah.
Alones.
Yeah.
Those
There
parents
is.
need to be taken to jail.
I think the plural should be Homes Alone.
When I was a
Homes
kid, I
Alones.
thought his name was Home Alone, and I used to
You
say
thought
like,
his name was Home
yeah, I was like,
Alone?
you know the bit where like where Home Alone like
Home
throws the
Alone.
paint cans and stuff. It's like his name is Kevin. Like his name's Home Alone. First name Home. Is it? But is his name
first name
Home
Homer?
Alone? No, I
Home
think his
Alone.
name is Home Alone.
Home
I think it's
Alone.
like one word.
Home Alone.
But yeah, Home Alone. I should call him that anyway.
I was going to call my second baby Princess
Back to the
Diana.
Future.
All
Oh,
one
Princess
word.
Oh wow!
And it was vetoed. I had 2 options for my second baby, both vetoed by their dad. If it was a girl, it was going to be Princess Diana. Vetoed.
Yeah.
So unfair.
Yeah.
If it was a boy, it was going to be Frank Ocean. Vetoed. And I regret it to this. No,
Frank Ocean.
Frank Ocean.
Would
And
be
then
like Frank
my
first name, Ocean
No.
middle name.
Frank
Just
Ocean.
Frank Ocean.
It's like one word, like
Frank
Home
Ocean.
Alone.
Frank Ocean.
In my friendship group, we have this thing where it's like if it's such a niche inside joke.
Oh, may I tell you something?
No.
I've decided to.
Of course you can.
I've decided to rebrand everything from niche to rare.
Rare,
Because
okay.
I've often been labelled as niche. And I don't like that because in my mind I think I'm very mainstream, but obviously evidence is piling to the contrary. I would say to myself, I'm not niche, I'm
You're
rare.
rare.
Ah.
And you're not dabbling in something niche, you're dabbling in something rare.
And rare, but
Unless this is embarrassing.
yeah, wait. But it was if we needed to name something or it was like it's usually if we were to guess the name of a dog or if it was someone had a baby, the name that we would call her would be Tuna Marie. And I think it's like the best name in the world, Tuna Marie.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Could they have a sister called Prawns Mary Rose?
Yeah. But I think it's Tuna Marie is like it
That's
would
beautiful.
be and it would be like oh this is Pixie.
She sounds like a Southern belle.
yeah. I'm
Tuna
never
Marie.
Here now.
I'm never late to any appointment. Tuna Marie. I don't know why we got to that,
I
but
absolutely love it.
yeah, Tuna Marie. It is but it's got to the point where, and Jenny as well, which is not. It's just a normal name.
Don't know
But
me.
if someone's like, oh, quick, what's this person called? I'm like Tuna Marie, Tuna Marie or Jenny. That's it. Yeah.
So you were watching Home Alone.
I was watching
Home Alone 5 important.
Home Alone 5.
4. It was Home
Oh,
Alone
4.
4.
There are
apologize.
5.
But it was
There's
the one.
six.
There's
It's
6,
the
Jesus.
4 is. 1
Different
and 2,
Kevin?
1 and 2 are the best ones.
They're canon.
But 4 was the one that my grandpa used to put on VHS all the time, and me and my sister were obsessed with it.
Is it still Kevin McAllister?
It's Kevin McAllister, but not Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah,
But the
because
third,
by
the
that
third
point-
one
What?
isn't Kevin
Yeah.
McAllister.
He's called Kevin McAllister, but he's
Yeah.
not Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
This happens a
Kevin-
lot.
James
in acts-
Bond.
Yeah, it's like James Bond.
Yeah,
Dalton
and
Lewis.
it's
This is
also got Marv in it, Joe Pesci's character.
Seriously? Not
But
Joe
it's
Pesci.
but it's not Joe Pesci.
Oh, this is
and,
fucked.
and Marv has a wife, and they go around and
Wait, the
and-
wife and the wife is part of the
Yeah,
evil.
they're the bandits, but they're not called the bandits.
Huh.
Anyway, so they go to this.
What happened
they
to
go,
Harry? He's still in
R.I.P.
jail.
Dead.
Still in jail. Harry's dead. Shit.
Yeah.
Took one too many paint cans to the face.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just rename it like the same?
He had an alleged suicide in prison.
Oh God.
It was Marv.
Anyway.
No, but this is such a convoluted way to say. When in my head, I was like, that is the most beautiful, posh, stylish house I've ever seen in my life. And so then I watched it about 3 days ago. Because in my head I was like, I want to see whether it's like really shit early noughties style and taste, and it holds up. Yeah. In Kevin's room, it's got a full wall. It's so ugly. It's got a full wall of TVs that he can play like
No.
thingy and thingy and thingy. And I was like, oh my god, that in my head I was like, that is so sick. And he had a gaming chair and he had a pinball machine, and it's so like early noughties. But the best thing
Spoilt.
is the best thing is they had a little speaking device where they would go doors open and it would open the doors. So it was essentially early day Alexa.
Alexa.
Yeah.
We could really mess with people's houses right now. Like if they listen to this like live, like
Yeah.
Alexa,
Hey, Google.
and like you just do something for their house.
Alexa.
Lights off.
No.
Oh my god!
We just put Throne in the dark. It's the
Hey
future.
Google,
Sorry.
play.
One of the most ingenious ideas.
Yeah.
I've never had someone do it, and yet the radio's always on.
Yeah.
you can do
Alexa,
anything.
play Riding Solo by Jason Derulo.
Yes.
Have you got anything for sale on any
Hello
of-
Google,
Are you
tell
sa-
me a joke.
Are you selling anything on Amazon at the moment? I think that's something specific we can do.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking specifically we could maybe get this. We could maybe buy
Alexa,
something for you
add
right
Josie
now.
Long special to cart.
There you go, done.
I don't know.
Alexa,
what-
purchase.
Alexa, create wish list for Josie Long.
Why do you all talk like
Sorry.
Alexa when talking to her? It's really odd. We can talk normally. She understands.
I don't.
Yeah.
I
I don't
don't
like it.
have anything
No.
like that in my house.
Neither
But
do
what
I.
I do have, and I really am regretting it, and I think I'm going to stop it, is that a guy came round, and part of me's like, is this some kind of undercover sting? But a guy came round from the people who make the ratings for TV.
Oh, in America it's called
Oh.
Nielsen, but I only know that
It's
from
called
television.
Bob.
Bob.
And he was like, do you want your house to be a ratings for TV house? And honestly, shit like that I've always dreamed of, and I don't even know why. So I was like, yeah, I would love it.
Josie, if you
Whoa,
had
what does
that,
that
think of the pilots we could have got made into
Oh,
Uh-huh.
because you'd be just like have them on repeat, like watch,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you'd be like, well, this, like,
This
a million
is through
people
the
are
roof.
watching this.
Exactly. So I've done it, and they said, "Oh,
Do
we'll
they-
pay you." And I
Is
thought,
there like
oh,
a
lovely.
box or something?
Yeah, but honestly, it's a pain in the arse, and on some level, I assume that it's listening to me,
All right.
and I still can't access all these because it's not money; it's points. I'm like, I want the fucking points, so I think I'm going to get rid of it. But the man was very nice, and that's why I did it.
How does
made
it
me
work
feel special.
though? Like if you were watching something on
Points make
It's
catch
like
up,
a
would it?
listening device. Yeah, basically whatever you're watching on like a streaming service.
They just know that you're watching,
Whoa.
so they can.
What
keep
if you
track
watch
of
something illegally? Would they
Uh,
catch it?
it. I think
Well,
you'd have to
I
be
wouldn't know
plugged in.
about
Oh,
that,
Of
Lottie.
course, neither do I.
Sean, what happens if you watch things illegally?
No, you're fine. I can't do anything about it.
You what?
Sean's dad got a letter from the police once
What?
because of you.
Naughty, naughty.
And was that you naughty boy?
Was it in America?
Not even you.
It was in
Oh
America.
yeah,
though.
well this is it. A dad would do it in a clumsy way.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
The Stand Comedy Club podcast is proudly sponsored by West Brewery.
Speaking of TV,
Yes.
if there was a show that wasn't a comedy show, like a game show or something like that, what would you want to be on?
So right, here's the first thing. I've been on a lot of game shows to raise money for charity, right?
Nice.
And I love it, and I would do it until I'm dead in the ground. But it's always really hard. Not to say that I don't want to, but it's very weird when you win an insane amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, I won't see a penny.
Oh no!
Like, that is an intense feeling. And so sometimes I think, oh, I'd love to just go on a game show, like go on,
And just actually win the
to
money.
See
Or
what
just
you
storm it.
could. To
Yeah.
see whether you could.
Although money in game shows isn't as much as it used to be.
But also,
Whenever they're like, you could win £200.
also, I'm 100% not insulting you at all. I really am not. But I do sometimes feel like with the celebrity, with
It's
the,
easier.
with the quizzes, they make it easy.
because it's for charity.
They are 100%.
I'd like to get. It'd be great to talk to Paul Sinha, who's potentially possible. I've got
Yeah,
Paul's
yeah.
number, and ask him about the chase and be like, "How
Right.
do you sleep at night when you take money away from charities?" On like, because I mean, it's weird because they're actively trying to take money off
Yeah.
charity.
Yeah.
That's their job.
Yeah.
He has to do it
I know
it's
his
because
job.
it has to be a fair game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's
And
like
he has to be a worthy opponent.
Yeah.
he's a
He
monster.
wouldn't feel good.
He's
the nicest
He's the
one.
nicest monster. He's
He's
lovely.
nicest
Yeah,
one.
Paul's
I
lovely.
was on Celebrity MasterChef with the woman Jenny from The Chase, and I'll tell you something. She's a competitor. She doesn't cease to compete. She's a competitor.
Wow.
But
You're
professional
a
quizzers
master
are
chef.
though, man. Like that's their
She's-
whole thing, like quizzing. And
There's
they
a reason he's called the Beast.
Yeah.
It's because his second name is Labette.
Oh.
Which is quite nice because I thought you can't just call
I
that big
know.
man a beast. That seems really brutal.
Oh, I thought
Turns
I
out
meant he was a beast at the quiz.
Oh
But
no, I
Beast-
thought it was just because he was like beastly. It turns out his second name is Labette. So it's
But
like that
beast
seems
means
fair
something
enough.
different in Scotland than it does everywhere else in the world.
But it's also become a bit of
Yeah.
it's like somebody on RuPaul's Drag Race who does like the beast.
Yeah, that's
Like-
Alyssa Edwards, I
Yeah.
think.
Anyway.
Anyway, but yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, and also I nearly, but I didn't do it because at the time I was like, oh, I think this is beneath my dignity. But in about 2010, I got asked to go on Celebrity Total Wipeout. I know. And at the time, I was like, no, I can't do that. And now I'm
Would
like,
it have
you
been in, like,
fucking idiot.
wasn't it from
Argentina?
Argentina?
They literally were like,
Why
you
did you
get-
say no?
I don't know. Why does anyone do anything? At the time,
One of the big balls.
I would do it for free now. I
You
would
would
pay
have
to
met
do it.
Richard Hammond.
I don't think he's.
I could
is
have
he not
finished it
there?
off. What I mean is killed him.
No, that's fine.
In a video game.
I mean, killed him.
In a video game.
I would have. I don't want anyone thinking I would have sex with Richard Hammond. I would have. Yeah, now I look back and think I could have done that. I also got asked to do a celebrity thing called the jump.
Oh shit, that's
But
the thing.
people
On the skis, on the
fucking nearly
skis.
died on it.
Yeah,
Did
that's-
they? I was. Yeah.
I think they had to stop doing it because they couldn't get the insurance
Somebody,
for
I
it.
think, broke their neck.
It was
Yeah.
bad.
People
It was
broke
real
their
really
bad.
bad.
bones. It was they were like,
Celebrities
yeah,
did.
because they were like, ski jumping, that thing that people train for that is life or death. Why don't we just see if people from Towie
Well,
can do it?
Eddie the Eagle done it.
Yeah, he did.
But I think that what's quite good about the show, The Jump, was it showed actually that Eddie the Eagle, for all everyone made fun of him,
Was actually
was
decent.
actually doing pretty, like for the average person, still pretty
Yeah.
fantastic.
What was that
Yeah.
one? Where there was a hole in the wall. Was it called Hole in the
It was
Wall?
called Hole in the Wall.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
And they
you
used to
had
shout,
to
"Bring
like-
on the wall!"
Yeah.
And then like people would have to like fit through like
Yeah,
a...
yeah.
What period was this? Was this kind of early teens?
I would say
Yeah, I think-
about 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
What a funny
was a
time.
lot of them,
wasn't
I
What
was
there?
quite compos mentis there, so I feel like it was.
Was
Hole
it
in the
before you
wall.
discovered drinking?
Yeah, I just was like I would have been about 12, so that was when,
Yeah,
when my
straight
brain
in.
went alive.
Yep, straight in.
Yeah, but Hole in the Wall was unreal. I would have.
I just
loved to
remember
have
someone
done
having
that.
to do that in like a really panicked way.
And sometimes it was just like a circle.
Yeah, and then you get to jump straight through it. And I just remember having Anton Dubeck as the host, which is also
no,
No,
hilarious.
the original was Dale Winton, but then Anton,
so it was,
then
so
Anton
it
Dubeck
was.
took over. but
I
it
was on a quiz with Anton Dubeck.
Tony
Isn't it-
Beak.
Yeah, I was going to say, isn't it so funny? His name's Tony Beak.
Tony Beak.
Wait, that's his real
His real
name?
name is
This is like
Anthony Beak.
Luigi Big Eater.
What?
The guy who did the CEO assassination surname is
Oh,
like Big Eater.
Mangione.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what that
Luigi Big Eater.
means?
That's like
See?
Antonio Banderas. His name is
People
People
Tony
are saying
Flag.
Luigi's Mansion.
Tony Flag. Antonio Banderas.
They're
Tony Flag.
lucky that Spanish is
A
like
nice, fancy
nicer
language.
than.
All right, Tony Flag.
Henry Churches.
Who's that?
Enrique Iglesias.
Iglesias Henry Church. There was a van in certainly where I grew up in Bearsden that used to go around. It was called Enrique the Glacier.
Oh.
Yes!
It's very good. I quite like a pun. I have
love
to say.
that
I know
shit.
some people say it's a very low form of comedy,
No.
but I
When it's that sort of
a
thing.
well
that's-
done pun is
Can
good.
I tell you something really good that the comedian Laura Davis did for me?
Yes.
They came around my house and brought this
Legend.
paper bag that was a bag from flour for cooking,
Uh-huh.
and in it were some bulbs.
Oh, that's
Oh, that's
Oh.
lovely.
And I was just like,
There's
Handheld
a
pun.
lot of
Handheld fun.
thought has gone into that. That's
very.
good.
Handheld pun. I said handheld fun. It is also handheld fun, but handheld pun is.
Yeah,
love
I like that a lot.
Love that.
Well done, Laura.
I
I like prop comedy as well. I like anything not stand up.
oh no, never mind. Oh, you must not realise. I have had some pretty on my Instagram. I get advertised stuff. I don't know whether you guys get this.
No, this is unique to you.
I keep getting adverts from like improv troops that are
Oh,
like
wow.
withering about stand up, and every time I'm like, how fucking dare? How fucking dare you?
But where are they
I'm not going to
advertising
name and
from?
shame. I don't know. They're just advertising themselves. I also get loads of adverts that are like, come on this comedy course to learn how to be a comedian.
That's-
Yeah, and I'm just like,
That's so funny.
It's so
Mine is
rotten.
all trainers that are waterproof.
oh, that's better than me.
It's because that's all I
Waterproof
look at on the
trainers.
internet. Yeah.
For a while, my Instagram thought I was a very religious woman who wanted to write a book. And it would advertise this woman who would say, you want to write a book for the glory of God.
Jesus.
And I'd be like,
wow.
oh my,
Literally.
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
That's
I'm just thinking
interesting.
we keep coming up with more T-shirt things.
What?
I'm a religious woman who wants to write a book.
No, you want to write a book for the glory of God.
Oh yeah, sorry. So that's
No, I
on the
like
back.
both. Yeah. You guys need a lot. Wouldn't it be funny to have a podcast where all it really was the T-shirt generator?
Yes.
exercise?
Yeah.
Aren't quite a lot of podcasts. But
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
yeah.
That's so good. You were saying that you went on a thing with Anton
Anton
Dubeck.
Dubeck.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Tony Beak.
Anton Dubeck.
Yeah, I was on Celebrity 15-1 and
Well done.
Wow.
I won it.
I don't know
But here's the reason I won
15-1?
it. It's a game show.
It's a Channel 4 quiz show
It's
where basically there's 15 people on it and basically they go round and then you get asked
Or
questions
was
and
it
then
15 to? No, it was 15-1.
that is 15 to 1 and then they all
Yeah,
and you
but I
basically and
did
it's quite
one
hard. It's quite hard.
recently- Oh, Weakest Link is what I did recently. But
Oh wow.
thank
Ramesh.
you, and I won it.
Oh, and I met you on the way back from it.
Yeah, I live to win quiz shows. It's so pathetic. But also, I set up a charity called Arts Emergency, which I really do want to plug on here, which is a wonderful organisation. And every time I play on a quiz show, it's for them.
Oh, that's
so
quite good.
that's
Yeah,
one of the
good.
reasons why I'm obsessed with it, because in my head I'm like totting up this little pot of
That's
money that I've
cool.
raised for them.
That's
Oh,
cool.
that's so good.
And for a time, I was their biggest fundraiser, and it meant so much to me. But now they're kind of bigger than that. But the reason I beat Anton de Beck, actually, he came out really early.
Loser.
Because Anne Widdecombe was on my 15-1, Conservative politician,
I'm gonna boo her. Boo.
Yeah, boo.
and homophobe,
Yeah,
Yeah.
piece of nonsense.
anti-abortionist,
Not a fan.
scumbag.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Ugh.
We're
Not
never
even
going to
conservative
get
anymore.
her
She's
on
not
the
like a
pod.
reform
No.
MP. She's not like moved to even worse. I'm sure she's in reform now.
Oh, really?
We'd have to go into this.
Anyway,
It'll
yeah.
just we'll get angry.
Yeah.
For
Fuck
balance,
her.
my sister lives in Kent, is a hairdresser, and she said she once washed her hair and she was nice to her. So there we go.
Okay.
And I said, any cunt can be nice,
Yeah.
which
Agreed.
I believe.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So I was on 15-1 with her, and she was like the angel of death. She was picking people off. In the second round, you get to like choose.
Vote you get
people.
like because you have like 2 lives
Oh
or
my
something, and if you
God.
get 2 votes, you're like
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
No, it wasn't weakest link. It was 15-1. So basically,
Yeah, in
you
15-1 you
nominate
get to-
someone
Oh, to answer the
to
question.
answer the question.
Ah.
So she was picking people off, and she always had the power, because if they went, it went back to her. And she
Yeah.
nominated
Oh.
again, right? And people were dropping like flies. Johnny Vegas, as previously discussed, out. And I was like, oh,
gutted.
fuck, this doesn't feel good. And she looked me straight in the eyes, and she realised that she didn't have a clue who I was and that she didn't know my name. And she moved on. And I said to myself, there is safety in obscurity.
Oh my God.
I said to myself, this is why we don't want to be, you don't want to disturb it. You know?
Yeah.
You don't want to be too
And then you,
well-known.
but then you won.
Yeah, I beat Heston fucking
Everyone was on
Blumenthal.
this.
Oh my
That was a
God.
good show.
No, you don't want to be. I never want to be, and luckily it's not on the cards. I never want to be so famous that I couldn't eat a nectarine like I was French kissing it on the bus. You know, I never want to be so famous that people would be like, "Oh, there's that famous person. I'll take a photo of them." Like,
Has that ever happened
Yeah, do
to
you
you?
ever
Has
get
someone
any of
ever
that?
taken a picture of you,
like
like,
stealth?
yeah, or that you've, and you've noticed?
Only in a weird way. I remember there was only in a sort of quasi acceptable way, where after a show someone was coming up to me and talking to me, and their friend took all these strange
Oh, right.
candid shots. No, I'm really lucky. Like, I remember David O'Doherty, who's my pal that I met in 1999. Like, he's sort of been my friend our whole comedy careers, and such a great guy. And he was saying that, like, there's a level where, oh, I can't remember what he said. I wasn't listening, but the gist was, it was a beautiful gist about what it means.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah, you want to be, basically, it's nice to be at a point where if anyone ever recognises you, it's a compliment.
It's nice.
Mm.
Yeah.
And otherwise people just assume you're just some idiot, which you are, you know.
I suppose it also maybe depends where you are as well.
I
know
feel
that
like I'm in
Yeah.
a really good zone today. I keep being like, I'm wise, and I'm fucking not. I'm an idiot. But I keep being like, by the way, guys, as if I know. I'm
Well,
such a fucking.
I was talking to Kevin when he was here recently.
Kevin Howden?
Bridges.
Oh, okay.
That was very
What?
Kevin Bridges
No,
is
it's
a great
me,
guy.
It's
Kevin.
relevant
He
to the
is a
story.
great
me and
guy.
Big Kev.
Is that I think it's interesting. I think if he was to go to like I don't know York, he'd be fine. He could just go out and have a coffee. And it's not.
yeah,
in
but
Scotland,
but
yeah.
he live. I mean, he lives and works in Glasgow,
Yeah.
and you know, I think that he struggles to go places because everyone.
Yeah.
There
But
was
it's
a-
nice. Like it's nice. Like people shout nice things at him and stuff.
Well,
but
I
it's
don't
also
know.
like
love him.
he's
There
got
was
his
a-
kid and his partner. He's like, do you mind just leave me alone?
There was
like,
a guy
have my
that
day?"
came to the stand, like it's customer, and he asked me, "Oh, is Kevin Bridges going to be on tonight?" And I was like, "Don't think so." Like, not as far as I know. And then he was like, "Oh, it's just because I seen him today." Eating dinner. I was at the same restaurant as me, and I was going up to him and I was asking him for a photo, and he was being really rude to me. It was actually, and I was
So
like,
you thought you'd fall into work?
like
what?
what? Like, and it seems like he was hassling.
But then
him,
also
basically.
people just freak out.
Yeah,
People do
yeah,
all
yeah,
kinds
they
of
do.
kind of stressful shit. Yeah, that is weird. I do think that Glasgow is too small a city and that everyone knows everyone's business, and I
Yeah.
haven't accepted that. Like, people are like, oh yeah, we see you in the gym. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Or they're
Well,
like, oh
that
yeah, I
happened to
saw
you,
you
didn't
walking.
it?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I saw you waiting at a bus stop. And I'm like, no, you didn't.
Well, Sean did that to me yesterday. I was taking a picture of the fog off the side of the Squinty Bridge,
Lovely.
and then got a message from Sean being like, "Sorry, so."
It was
Lottie
a
taking
picture of
pictures.
the back of Lottie, Lottie standing at the bridge, being like,
oh, but
Could
can I
you
tell
not? Could you
something?
not have said hi? Like,
The only time I ever
Sean.
want to be super famous
yeah.
is when I think about, say you were Tom fucking Cruise.
Yeah.
This is what I would
I
do.
thought you were going to say Tom fucking Stayed, which is what I do call him at every show report. His name is always Tom quote fucking Stayed. But
no,
obviously
say you were
different.
as famous as Tom Cruise.
So slightly less famous than Tom Stayed.
This is what I would do.
Sure.
I would just spend my life at bridges, at fucking listen, on bridges, at monuments,
Yeah.
and I would photobomb. I would photobomb
Bill
Murray
all
not do this?
day and all night,
Yeah.
so that everyone was like, "Is that Tom Cruise?
That is good.
Is that
Yeah.
Bill Murray does?"
Bill Murray turns up, just turns up at people's houses and stuff, and like their wedding, he would turn up at a wedding and be like, "Hey guys, congratulations" and stuff, or like he'll go up to people in a restaurant and he'll like buy their dinner and go,
Love
"No
that.
one's ever gonna believe you," and then just leaves.
Love
And I was like, "What?" And I've also, I mean, this might not be true, but I've also heard that Bill Murray doesn't have a phone and stuff like that. So like, to
Oh,
get
yeah, I've
really?
heard that.
and so like to book him, you have to like it's
Leave a
impossible to
message on
get
the
him.
answer
Like
phone.
it's an answer machine that you have to, and it's
Whoa.
like I've also heard Paul Merton is a similar thing. Weirdly, I know they're different people altogether, but I think Paul Merton doesn't have a phone either, or something like.
Really?
And to book him
Paul
is an
Merton.
absolute nightmare.
is Paul Merton the one that's on Have I Got News for You?
Yes.
Sure it is, yeah.
I love that guy as well. I love him. He once did a pantomime where he was the unreal pantomime, by the way, where he was
We
the.
talk about Panto a lot on this.
The-
Shout
podcast.
out to the Panto at the Kings. It was fucking incredible.
Oh yeah.
Every year.
He was the storyteller, and it was Jack and the Beanstalk,
Oh, he's the
and it
narrator.
was it. Oh my god! I wish I could. Who plays Bob the Builder?
Neil
No
Morrissey.
Oh, Neil Morrissey.
Neil
Oh, really? I
Morrissey
don't know
was
that.
Jack.
What?
And
What
it
the fuck?
was
This is
it
Star
was
What
like
year was this?
Yeah.
It was a while ago.
while ago.
Yeah,
I had
this
it on
is like
VHS.
90s royalty.
Had it on VHS, and I
Oh, it was really
used
good.
to think that Paul Merton was the most famous person in the world.
Do you
and
know
I
he
was and I was like, I can't believe that he is there.
You
And
just
then it was,
esteemed him
and
so
Bob the
much.
Builder, Neil Morrissey was so funny, and it was, it was
Neil
someone.
Morrissey is really great.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
brilliant
He's so
in it.
talented.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And it had, oh my god, there was a guy that played.
This whole podcast has just been people not remembering things.
He was on Taskmaster. Julian Clary.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
that's
Wow.
No, that
Yeah.
is Panto royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he played the the sexually ambiguous but definitely gay hand of the giant,
Oh,
where
my
he was
stomach's
like,
growling.
he was just kind of running around and he stole the golden hen, what made golden eggs, and it had Julie Walters in it as well. Julie Walters was in
Yeah,
it.
Julie Walters.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Yeah,
You
I'm gonna
could
send
not.
you the
the way
YouTube.
you led.
It's because he's the most famous
Now,
person in the world.
Speaking of sketch shows, he did a sketch show in about 1990 that I fucking loved
Paul
as a
Merton?
kid. Yeah, it was quite surreal and quite unusual and really good.
He still does a lot of impro stuff. He still
Yeah, he does.
tours his
Yes.
Impro Chums show.
Yeah,
which is,
yeah.
I've seen that.
Have you seen the Tron Panto ever?
No, but I was thinking this year that I should try and get to all of them, but the clock is running.
Also,
Yeah.
good luck
I'm
going
going to the Tron Panto tonight.
Did you by any chance? Did you buy the tickets ages ago? Because it's
didn't,
definitely
but
sold
Henry
out.
did.
Did you get this through your fancy connection?
No, just Henry bought the tickets.
Henry, I thought it was your.
What's your fancy connection?
Oh, my sister works at the Tron. Is that the
Your
connection?
dad's a reviewer for a newspaper for theatre.
He doesn't get me free tickets.
But you could though if you
He's
wanted to.
growling. I'm just.
He never does.
That's
Uh,
rude.
It is.
but the panto at the Tron is class. It's Johnny McKnight writes it, and
Yeah.
it's a very.
He's in it this year.
So he writes the Tron panto and the Sterling McRobert panto, and he swaps between the two and plays the Dame one year and the Dame the next year. And this year the
that's
McRobert
amazing.
in Sterling, it's I think I've maybe said this before. It's Chris Forbes playing the Dame. I met Chris
Amazing.
Forbes, so this is definitely.
He was in
mentioned
my
that-
film. He's a fucking incredible
I love
actor,
him.
incredible
Yeah, yeah.
comedian.
He
Yeah,
was the
he's
first
nice man
First time
as
I did
well.
panto in the Airgate, Chris was my Dame. That's kind of how I got to know him. He's a really sweet guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to see him as a Panto Dame.
Well,
I
you
bet
can
he's
see him
fucking
right
Sterling.
now.
Oh,
Sterling.
guys,
We'll
Sterling.
get on the train easy.
Oh, with 2 children?
Yeah, easy.
Maybe I will actually.
I'm telling you, it'll be a good night.
No, I
out.
will go. I'll try and get in
Then
January.
McRobert's a lovely theatre as well, to be fair, so it's worth
Yes.
going.
My friend Anna
that's a fair
played
point.
Peter Pan in her church,
Oh,
like panto, when she was like, I don't know, 14, 15.
Sure.
And it was like in a church hall, and she flew.
She flew.
It was
I mean,
crazy.
I believe it,
Praise
but I
be.
guarantee
but it was
wasn't safe.
like no budget.
But can I tell you something amazing? And this is a spoiler, but presuming this is coming out after Christmas, where's the
Probably,
harm?
almost certainly.
Elaine C. Smith, obviously incredible. there's a bit where she flies in the King's Panto, and I realised that she's basically on like a tiny miniature crane.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
Right.
Did they have horses?
No, what they did.
I used to work at the King's and
But I tell you
saw
what they
that
did have.
panto.
But
60
they
times.
do a similar effect
They had-
every year,
what
like
did
with
they
that
have?
same equipment. So what
I
was
was
the
too
story this
excited
year?
to tell you this. There's a gigantic crocodile puppet, as
That's
big
cool.
as a whale. I'm not exaggerating.
Wow.
And it comes out near the start of the show, and it's
Amazing.
fucking terrifying, and it's brilliant. And then it's never seen again.
Oh my
And you're like,
God.
how much did you spend
Wow.
on that? You did it for 4 seconds.
I think it's because the guys
Sorry
that do
to
the panto. No, it's the guys that do the panto. They're who is it now? They're called Crossroads now. But they have like, because they're such a big company, they've got like the equipment to do effect on stage. So like you've got like your classic flying carpet, which is like, I work in theatre production. So like, but they've got that crane that they purchased years ago, which is why every time
Oh,
you
and
go
they
to see a
just
panto,
use
they
something.
change what
Yeah,
it does.
yeah, yeah.
So like when they did
Sick.
Jack and the Beanstalk, they basically stuck a helicopter on it, and the helicopter flies out. And like when they do, if they do Aladdin, it'll be the magic carpet that flies out. So basically, they've got the equipment. They just have to stick something else on the end
the
of it.
magic carpet. Was it Aladdin last year?
It
Yeah,
might be,
maybe,
but they'll
yeah.
always just stick something else at the end of
No,
that crane.
last
It's
year
nice to know that Elaine's got a shot. That's good.
Oh, it was great. And she looked like, don't get me wrong, it didn't affect the performance, but I felt like, oh, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. And she was like doing a great job, but I was like, ooh, I don't want to be on
Wow.
a crane dangling out in front of the crowd.
So we're coming towards the end.
Yeah.
And so what we classically do is Molly has an encyclopedic knowledge and infinite supply of basically random questions that we like to ask our guests that join us. So Molly, take it away. What's your question?
This is actually really difficult because I think I've just throughout this podcast I've just been
You
asking
have
you all of
kind
the
of,
random
yeah.
questions.
No, I love
I was
it.
supposed to save one till the end because I'm very good at derailing the podcast. And previously the questions have been stuff like if you were to remake a film into a Muppets movie, what would you do? That kind of
I
thing.
love that one.
That's a good question.
And I am definitely
Think of one that you've asked
Stalling.
someone else another time, like not
Should we
on
do the
the
Muppet
podcast.
one? The Muppet one's a great one.
No,
But
we should do a
we've
different
already
one.
done that
I won't be
one.
able to think of any film
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
Susie answered it very well.
Susie did do a good job, to be fair. Susie Kid was
oh my
Goodfellas.
god, I'm really struggling actually.
The last film I saw was The Substance, and that'd be a good Muppet movie.
Oh my god.
Would you have Miss Piggy as like the main character?
Yeah.
100%. And then the bit where it's like Monstro Alyssa Sue, you'd have like Hermit on the back.
Yeah. Still a boob falling out.
There's a-
Yeah. I am really struggling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm gonna start crying. We did this. This is a shout out to my mum and dad as well. They'll definitely be watching this. We
That's
used
so
to.
nice.
Yes, they're very supportive.
That's good.
We used to go. Bear with me, guys. We used to go to a swimming pool
Love those.
called the Coral Reef in
Where was it?
Bracknell.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And we used to go in this big jacuzzi that was like a soup bowl. And then we used to pretend that we were in the soup, and we used
Sorry, my stomach is growling.
and we used to pretend that we were ingredients of a soup. So my question to you is, if you were in the
if you were in the
jacuzzi,
Bracknell soup bowl,
yeah,
Uh-huh, which I would be.
yeah,
I love everything like that.
What
ingredient
ingredient would you be?
Whoa.
Because we would be a noodle sometimes. I had to be a pea because I was a small. My older sister made me a pea. Yeah.
Well, that was when I was a kid, my favourite thing in the world was to go swimming. I loved it more than anything in the world. And I would love to just play games in the pool.
Yeah.
I remember once me and my friend kept doing a thing where we were trying to sit on the bottom of the pool and pretend we were eating dinner.
Love
And we'd
that.
have to like keep jumping.
Yeah. We did tea party at the bottom of the pool. Yeah.
So I would absolutely participate in that game. And I think it would be something that would involve a lot of splashing. When I was a kid, I was a big splash.
Yeah.
Big splash guy.
Yeah.
You know? So maybe I'd be like something at the top, sizzling.
Yeah. But you could be
Ooh.
like a dumpling or something.
Be a little
soup
dumpling.
dumpling. Yeah.
On my desk in front of me, I have this thing which is from Chinese takeaway that I don't even know if it still exists, like about 20 years ago. And it's this really cute little flyer and it says plump dumpling.
Oh.
And I put it on there to encourage myself. I
That's
was like,
nice.
I'll be a plump dumpling.
I'm going to send you a video of they had when Theresa May was in charge. You know when she
Oh,
did
she was
all
in
that.
charge, yeah.
She somehow did with all of the stuff that she was fucking up, allowed a £13 million renovation on the coral reef. And I'm going to send you a video. It changed my life. Honestly, it was great.
Was it sad? Or was
Can
it
we
good?
add
Oh,
it?
was
No,
good.
it was great, but it
Oh,
was
I
like
take it
I'm
back.
going to send
Can
you.
we add the video to the end of the?
Yeah,
we can
go on,
maybe
Google
for
the
later.
coral
We'll send
reef.
that link anyway.
And I'm also going to send you a YouTube link to that panto with Paul Merton.
The most
and
famous man in
the
the
most
world.
famous man
it's so
featuring featuring Julie Walters, because I think you'd like it.
Do you would you still be starstruck if Paul Merton walked in? Do you still feel that, even though you know,
I would.
sorry to break this, that he's not the most famous man in the world, would you
He
still,
is
to
to me.
you though,
He's
but to
special
you,
to you.
would it, like, if you walked in, be like,
I would
that's
be.
Paul fucking
I would.
Merton?
Paul Merton and Kevin Eldon. I don't think I'd be able to. I think I would be really starstruck by the two of them.
Well,
Get them on the pod.
I met Joanna Newsom very briefly because she's friends with a friend of mine, and I was so starstruck. I can't even say it.
Star Trek.
Starstruck. I was so starstruck, and I literally just couldn't cope. And my friend is friends with her.
Wow.
So all I had to do was be normal and be
Couldn't
like,
do it.
Often
I'm
very
just
hard.
meeting a friend's
Yeah,
friend,
yeah,
but
yeah.
very hard for me. And I was like, I just need you to know that you are a genius, and I know that that's a big thing to say, but I really need you to understand, and I want you to know that. And I was like, and I just walked away, and I just wanted to eat my fist. I wanted to eat the whole fucking thing. I was like, why?
Amazing.
Wow.
So you'd be a dumpling in the
Be a
soup.
plump dumpling.
Yeah, I love that.
what would you be, just out of curiosity?
I would think I would
What
need
would you
to stick
be?
to my roots and be a pea.
A pea.
Yeah.
Lottie?
Sweet potato.
Oh, you are a sweet little potato. That's adorable.
Sweet potato.
Do you know what I'm gonna, Sean?
What would you
What are
be?
you in the soup? He doesn't know.
Good one, Sean.
Good answer, Sean. Thanks. Pal. I'm gonna go with like a stock, because you don't think about it, but it's a very important ingredient.
And you're
Yeah.
always there.
You want to be
holding us over his
You're
constituent.
what binds this
He's
shit
the one
together.
that- Yeah.
I'm being nice, for God's sake. Fine,
Fundamental.
you know, in the soup.
Oh wait, you were saying that Sean was the star.
Yes, Sean's a stock, because you don't think about it, but it's a very important part.
You never think about it.
Molly 100% disagrees. It's like, you're not stock.
No,
What would
you'd
you
be
be,
a carrot
Fraser?
because you got ginger hair.
Ew.
Only Molly can say that, because she's also a ginger. What would I be?
Bit of ham.
But-
Well, no, do you know what? I've never.
Ock.
I don't think I've ever made any soup, regardless of what the final product is, without putting an onion in it. So I think.
Oh,
onion-
gotta put an
of
onion
course,
in.
yeah.
You've got to put an onion
Gotta
in it.
listen,
so I
if
think
there's one thing this podcast must say, you gotta put an onion in.
I mean, I was kind of almost like I'm actually more. This isn't about me. This is about onions. They are the most important vegetable.
I agree.
They are the king of the vegetables.
Yeah.
They're so important in everything. They are the flavor maker.
Some people can't eat them,
No,
and
Which is
and you know
awful.
who you are, and I'm speaking about two people in particular.
I have.
but they're
a
just
relative like that.
they're so delicious if they're a main ingredient. But if they're not, they're so important to
Yeah.
most dishes. So I can't possibly say that's me, because that's me just telling you how great onions are and then saying that I'm an onion.
Yeah.
But
Get
No,
all
you
that,
can be.
yeah.
You can do that. That's fine.
oh, stop.
I
Yeah,
used to
onion.
eat onions like apples when I was a child.
No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't.
I mean, that's
I was a
mental.
freak.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing
Thanks so much for coming on the pod.
Thank you for having me.
You have stuff to plug.
that. Plug it, baby.
I don't know. I suppose I've written a book and it still exists, and I would love people to buy it. It's
Good
cool.
book.
Thank you. It's cool because I don't know what you mean and what you don't. I still love that. I'm writing another book, and I can say that now because I've written one story, so I feel like I'm.
Yay.
I'm writing a stand-up show, which I've been previewing at this beautiful place at a very slow pace. But I will actually start writing it next year, and it's called Now is the Time of Monsters, and it's about prehistoric animals, and that'll be at the Fringe, and that'll be previewing. I will hopefully have many other projects by the time this comes out.
Did you want
you-
to plug that charity as well?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Join Arts Emergency. Have a look. Send them donations.
Arts
They
Emergency.
do wonderful
We'll-
things with it, and I'm really proud.
We'll
to be
link
part.
stuff.
Yeah.
We'll put a wee link in for you.
Can we please link the YouTube panto as well?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
of course we can.
Good, I'm glad.
I'm plugging Paul Merton.
He needs the help.
Love him. Anyway, it's
I
been so
also
nice to
have
have had
t-shirts on my website that say "Death to the Crazy Frog."
Do you actually?
Yeah, it's not nothing.
I love that.
Not nothing.
Great.
Wow.
I say on my website it's like josielong.bigcartel.com. No big deal.
No big deal.
Don't follow me on any socials. It's not worth it.
Oh, I think your Instagram's pretty good.
Oh, thanks.
Good
Yes.
stories on there.
Oh,
Yeah, nice.
I'm actually about to come off. I feel like I've
Oh.
been too much.
Well,
Okay, well,
I've had such a fun time.
me too.
Thanks, guys. What a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I've had a good time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Well
Thanks,
done.
Sean.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sean. Oh,
Thank
thank
you,
you, Sean, as always.
The stock.
The Stand Comedy Club podcast is sponsored by West Brewery.